Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first video in a series of videos of my off-grid home that I built in 2020 and 21. Took me about 2 years to build it, and I built it on the weekend, my days off, working 60 hours, and then on the weekends building my house. It is nighttime right now. I will show you a video of my house from the outside, but for this first video, I'm going to show you the inside of my house. This is my living room. It is 16 by 20, 16 by 24. Very simple house plan. It is my bedroom, 12 by 16, and my bathroom, or what I call my utility room. It's not, I don't know, that's what I call it. It has a shower, a small room for my toilet, and my sink. Also have my refrigerator, cooler, batteries, solar power, and some storage stuff. So I use it more than just as a bathroom. I have no doors in my house, just the outside ones. I live by myself. But what I wanted to show you was, as you see me walking through my house, I have electricity. I am off-grid. My house looks like an ordinary beach house like everybody else's out here, with one big difference. And what that difference is that my house is completely off-grid. I am not hooked up to running water. I do not have electricity with the grid. And I do not have a septic system, and I do not have any of that. But I'm going to show you how my house works. Now, although my house looks ordinary, like a normal house, it is actually very futuristic. And not in technology-wise, but as in what I feel a house should be in the future. So my house is, to me, in my opinion, I'm advanced 20, 30, 40 years in advance. And when I say advanced, I'm not talking about lights on. Siri, can you turn the lights on? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that my house is simple, built. Right now, as I'm making this video, I'm 47 years old. As I get older, I may not be able to do a lot of things that I want to. So I need to make sure that my house and my home, I can work on my house and fix it. So I built my own house, and I know exactly what's behind the wall. I know how it's wired up. So let me stop blathering, whatever. I'm going to show you something very cool. That's a normal light fixture, 120 volt light fixtures. I'll show them to you. It's my kitchen. Got like a 5 steampunk style there. I have like one of these old school looking lights over here in my bedroom. I don't know if you can see that. I really like it. And then I have the little spotlights, the ones that go inside the ceiling. I got some of those in my bathroom. Plenty of light. No problem. So anyway, I want to show you one of the most common light bulbs that people use. This is an LED 120 volt light bulb. This is an LED 12 volt light bulb. Inside of this is a transformer that goes from 120 to 12 volts. There is circuitry in here. This goes out. There's nothing in here. The only thing that's in here is a resistor. And maybe something else, but there's no transformer in here. This is my secret to my house. This is how I have electricity. Now, my house is off-grid, so of course, like most off-gridders, I have batteries. I have, let me see if you can see it there. I have 4 batteries, 12 volt series. Let me show you my little circuit box the way everything's hooked up. Now, when I built my house, I built it with the intention of it was going to be permanently off grid. There is no 120 volts in my house. All the lights that you see are 12 volts. Now, this light bulb that I bought, well, I have a bunch of them. I got like about 30 or 40 of them. Cannot be bought here in the United States. You cannot buy this. As some of y'all know, there is a conspiracy with the LED light bulbs in the United States. They do not sell light bulbs that last for a long time. The reason why is because they want you to buy and buy and buy. They don't want you to buy one light bulb and it's going to last forever. That'd be silly. They don't make no money that way. Fuck them. Anyway, so let me explain my solar lighting system first, because that's what this video is about. In this first video, I'm just going to talk about lighting. So I'm going to introduce to you what I have. I have 3 solar panels. 2 of them are 150 and one of them is 100 watt, making it a total of 400 watts power. Those 400 watt solar panels, along with the wind generator, which I don't use very much, but I do have one, produces enough electricity to charge my 4 batteries up. And I've been running this for about 3 or 4 years. My house is only 2 years. I know, do the math. I had it in my RV that I built first. I ran it in there to make sure everything was working great. And then I transferred it to my house. Same batteries, same solar panels and everything. So I've had my solar system array, batteries and all that for 4 years now, running without a hitch. It working perfectly. Here in Texas, when the sun rises up until about 10:30, at the latest 11 o'clock in the morning, my batteries are fully charged. So from 11 o'clock till sunset, it's free electricity. Now, like I said, it's dark. I haven't showed you my house from the outside, but I have big windows. I have large windows. I do not have AC or heating. I'll explain to you how I do all that later. But like I said, today in this video, I'm showing you my lighting. Now, my light fixture that I have over here is just a regular light fixture that you can get off of eBay. I got these over at Walmart. They're about $22. Now, I'm very good, or I'm very knowledgeable about electricity and stuff. And when you do a off-grid system, a house system, the weakest link in your solar system is your inverter. The inverter is what converts the 12 volt lighting to 120. So why do you need 120 if your house uses 12 volts? Well, you don't need it. Okay, I'm not going to get into that. That has to do with Tesla and Edison and how Edison stole the patent from Tesla. So I'm not going to get into that in this video. But what I do want to let you know is that all the wiring in my house is 12 volt. Now, I do have 120 volt outlets. As you can see here, I have 4. I have a black one and I have a white one. The white one is 120 volt and the black ones are 12 volt. Yes, I can accidentally plug something in there and burn it out. I'm going to fix that later. But for now, no one is allowed to plug anything into my house, just me. So I have the same plug that uses for 120 as I do for 12 volt, because I haven't figured out how to hook up a 12 volt socket into a house receptacle, or I haven't found a good way of doing it. So I'm just using 120 volt receptacles to plug in my 12 volt items. My whole house is 12 volt. There is no 120 in it. Now I do have an inverter, but I never use it. The only time I ever use my inverter is whenever I'm running my TV or my PS4 or my Xbox 360 or something like that. Because everything else in my house is 12 volt. Everything. So, here on my dresser, what I have is a fan and a charger for my phone. It's my bedroom. That's all I need. What else do you need? Also have a radio. It's a car radio. I don't know if you can see it there. But I have a stereo. It's a car stereo, which I use for my radio when I'm here at the house. So anyway, when I built my house, I used extension cords and I cut them and I ran them through the house and through the walls. You cannot use 120 volt AC wire for 12 volt because it has to be multi-strand. So this is the secret to my house, how my 12 volt lights all work and it's wired up. So what I basically did was I got a 120 volt lighting fixture. I used the 12 volt LED lights that are E27 base, which is the most common base that we use here in the United States. And I made sure that the light fixture did not have any extra stuff in it, like lights or fuses or anything like that. It's just straight wires. So I used the black and the white, positive, negative. I made one of the wires positive and the other one negative. And I made sure I wrote it down so I can remember it, because all my wiring is using electrical extension cords. So for example, that light right there that I have, it's wired up, it goes up into the ceiling, and then there's a plug, just like a regular 120 volt light plug. And there's up on top, there is a 120 volt receptacle that I just plug it in. And then that wire from that little box runs to my box over here, and I have a fuse in there. So there's a fuse in there, just like your vehicle. And let me see if you can see it there. It's a fuse box with fuses in there. So in case there's a short in something, the fuse will go off. In all of my circuits, I use 5 amp fuses because that's all the power that they use. They don't use very much power. So anyway, it runs, that 12 volt runs to my batteries, and that's my whole system. Did I forget something? I sure did. The inverter. I don't use one. Like I said, why do you need one? Why do you need 120 volts in your house? You don't need 120 volts. All you need is 12 volt. The only reason why you need AC volt is to get it from the power station to your house. Then at your house, the appliance that you use goes from 120 volt AC to 12 volt. I just jumped that. I took away the weakest link of the system. Now, I know what you're saying. 12 volt can only run for so long until there's a voltage drop, and that is true. So I kept all of my wiring lengths under 50 feet because I think it's past 50 feet that the voltage starts dropping. So my batteries are almost in the middle of the house. As the wire run goes from the fuse box to my lights, it's less than 50 feet. It's actually less than 40 feet. So I'm good there. So when I built the house, I took that into consideration. I needed to make sure that all my wiring to all of my fixtures and stuff was under 50 feet. My house is small. It's 720 square feet, I believe, without the, taking into consideration my rear deck and my front deck. But anyway, to me, I've been watching a whole lot of videos and off-grid before I started doing this. And I really thought about it, and I really put a lot of thought into it. And I made sure that I made the most efficient, simple system that you can think of. And to this day, I still have not seen another video on the internet that is as efficient and simple as the one that I have in my house. That's the reason why I say my house is futuristic, because it is futuristic in its simplicity and the way you built it, the components that you use. So let's go through the whole system again. 4 batteries in parallel, 12 volts, going to a fuse box, going through cut extension cords, using 120 receptacles to 12 volt E27 base light bulbs. Light bulbs cost about $2. Forgot to throw that in. Now, how much more simpler can you get? That's it. And all the fixtures that I use are fixtures that you can buy at Walmart, at Lowe's, at Home Depot. I just made sure that the things that I was using, I marked them as 12 volt, and they didn't have any other 120 volt type transformers or LEDs or fuses or test lights or anything like that. So anyway, when I built my house, I took this into consideration and I made sure that everything was going to be simple, easy, affordable, because if it doesn't, it's not going to work, people. Now, I've seen a bunch of videos where they have this huge 4,000 watt inverter in their house. That is like the dumbest thing ever. Why do you want to go from a 12 volt battery to an inverter that's going to break on you? Because believe me, I got 2 and they're both broken. Then convert it back down to 12 volt LED. Just stay 12 volt. That's it. Now, there are a few things that are not 12 volt, and I'm going to show you one of those right now. This is my fan. It is a 9 volt fan. And all I did, can't see it there, this is a small box. And in that small box is a 12 volt to 9 volt DC to DC converter. And it has a fuse in there. It has the transformer. And it plugs into my wall just like a regular AC device, but it's to the black one, you know, because I designated black as 12 volt. So anyway, got any questions? Put them in the comments. I'll try and see if I can get to it. I'll see you in video 2.